Support for Just Seen It comes from Acorn, distributors of the detective drama Jack Taylor, starring Game of Thrones Ian Glenn. More information is available at acornonline.com/PTV. Support for Just Seen It comes from Warner Archive Instant. Streaming hard-to-find movies and TV shows direct from the studio at WarnerArchiveInstant.com. Duncan is forced to spend the summer with his mother and her new boyfriend. When he discovers the local water park, the eccentric boss offers him a job.
Does your mom know you work here?
Who's that big guy?
Is this the girl?
What are you doing over here talking to us?
Well, maybe, Roddy, if you guys hadn't called me over here.
Armed with new friendships, Duncan finds the strength to come into his own in The Way, Way Back.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
I'm David.
And I'm Aaron, and today we're here to talk about the newest film from Oscar-winning writers Jim Rash and Nat Faxon, The Way, Way Back. We've all just seen it. Kevin, start us off.
Well, The Way, Way Back is this coming-of-age story about this kid who has to spend an entire summer with his mom's obnoxious, terrible, awful boyfriend.
And the even more obnoxious daughter of the boyfriend.
And
True.
all of his neighbors.
Actually, everybody's obnoxious.
Yeah, all the adults are really obnoxious.
Coming-of-age movies have been a little bit more adult. They're not just these vapid, sexy, horny teenagers.
Right.
They're really paying attention to them and taking them seriously, like Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Absolutely.
And The Spectacular Now, which comes out, which we've seen. It's the same type of thing, and it was really nice to see that.
Especially with these two guys. Jim Rash and Nat Faxon sort of have a tendency to write very poignant and true-to-life things. I mean, The Descendants came out a couple years ago, and the first scene of this movie, it's like this weird mixture between comedy and pathos where you don't know if you should be laughing because it's so terrible, but at the same time, it's funny.
Right, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I really disliked the first 20 minutes of the movie, and I think when you and I walked out of the theater and I said that, you were the same way.
No, it's true. It's because it's hard to gauge the tone of the film. You don't know what it's going to be yet, and once it gets into that rhythm, then it ends up being really enjoyable.
And that first scene, like for me, and maybe I bring my own baggage to it, but I was so angry at Steve Carell's character that I just wanted to strangle him. So I was upset.
And that's why I was so distant at the beginning of the movie, because Trent is such an awful person. And even Duncan, he just seems so miserable. And I'm like, okay, you're spending the summer on the beach at Cape Cod. I can understand, you know, these people are miserable, but like, cheer up a little. You're spending the summer at the beach.
Well, and
know?
everybody you meet, like Allison Janney's character, Rob Corddry, Amanda Peet, they're all just unlikable adults. And they even mention something about that in the film, that this, place during the summer is kind of like their spring break. They
adults
get to behave.
can act like kids.
So that's why you feel that distance.
Absolutely.
But they wrangle it in. They make you feel for Duncan.
Yeah.
He's great. Liam James plays our lead character, Duncan, and at first, like we've said, it's hard to identify with him, but after a while you get used to him, and
because his story kicks in the minute they get settled, and he by accident finds this water park, Water Whiz, which is such a great name for a water park. And all of the very quirky employees that populate the Water Whiz, that's when his story begins. And that's when he starts to open up and he starts to become a real person instead of this dour, sullen teen.
I mean, he is dour and sullen, but he starts wearing his emotions on his face to the point where you know how he's feeling and you can relate to how he's feeling.
And I think we all know kids like that, especially in high school, that were like sunken in, and you knew they had issues. And mostly they got bullied because of the way they appeared. And here he is getting bullied by an adult, which is what's so horrible about it. But what I like too is when they went to the water park, there were certain scenes that they set up where we're like, oh God, he's going to be bullied, or it's not going to turn out. And they would flip it a little bit, and it wasn't always what you expected, and it was so nice to see that.
Sam Rockwell plays Owen, the manager of Water Whiz, and
can I be him?
Yeah, I mean he's fantastic. He's the standout performance for me. I always love Sam Rockwell in movies, not only because he has a signature way of delivering dialogue and this character in particular really fits his style, but also because he's just always funny and he always dances and he's so good at dancing, and I love watching him dance.
He's in every film they get him to dance.
I do. He's a great actor.
We have a situation over at Harpoon Lagoon.
Is it a homicide?
Yeah, it's a homicide.
I knew this day would come.
we need to talk about Steve Carell, who
Sure.
surprised me because
He's a jerk.
he's such a jerk.
Unbelievable. I've never
hated him.
hated Steve Carell.
I know. Every time he was on screen, I wanted to punch him in the face.
Me too. I wanted Duncan to punch him in the face.
And I love Steve Carell. He's so warm and fuzzy and awesome. And then, wow.
It's
was
great.
just-
I mean, it displays that he has acting range and talent.
We're gonna play this way, because I'm just going like that. All the way past molasses swamp, and I win.
So we have to talk about the writers and the directors and the co-stars, which are, of course, Nat Faxon and Jim Rash. And because they are all three, they're even in the movie, you really see there's a consistency of tone in the movie. That they have a vision, they have a tone, that the movie doesn't keep shifting gears, and it's really evident.
It's awesome because they're first-time directors. I mean, they do an outstanding job.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's so good. The timing is perfect. The tone, once it gets settled, is great.
Yeah.
And it never wavers. And they're obviously amazing at capturing performance because they're actors.
This is a wonderful summer movie, sweet and innocent, and a wonderful antidote to the very loud, explosive summer movies that we have out right now. I say see it.
This is a heartfelt and winning film about finding your voice, and I really loved it. So I say see it.
The Way, Way Back is a sharply written film with a lot of class and charm, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly. So I say see it.
Cheers!
Cheers to going way, way back.
Way back.
Oh, Jesus.
Scene 1, take 2, marker.
God, be a little more excited.
Whatever.
Someone shot his dog.
Whatever.
Support for Just Seen It comes from Acorn, distributors of the detective drama Jack Taylor, starring Game of Thrones Ian Glenn. More information is available at acornonline.com/PTV. Support for Just Seen It comes from Warner Archive Instant. Streaming hard-to-find movies and TV shows direct from the studio at WarnerArchiveInstant.com.